Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Eric, would you lead us this evening? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sarah, are we doing online Zoom?
Yes, we are.
So you want to turn the mics on, Nathan?
We're hot.
We're on. We're hot.
We're hot.
All right, Doug, restrain yourself. Need to read anything before the meeting tonight? No? Okay. All right, we'll get fired up here. Called to order at 6:07. Sarah, roll call, please.
Nathan Viss.
Here.
Eric Burnham.
Here.
Doug Spencer.
Here.
Jolie Kovach.
Yes.
Randy Niemeyer.
Present.
Brian Smith is absent. Denny Wilkening is absent. Robert Carnahan.
Here.
David Austin.
Present.
And I am here.
All right, thank you. Okay.
For the record, let it reflect that our town manager and Jill are here and our
Jennifer,
Jennifer.
yes, as well as our treasurers in training that we got here. Welcome back, gentlemen. It's good to have you. All right. This evening first, Mr. Henn,
Yes.
welcome.
Well, thank you.
It is good to have you here at the Redevelopment Commission. So about 9 months ago, we were looking around. We had started the new farmers market here in town, and it struck us as a Redevelopment Commission kind of, wow, there are some folks that are really, really, really committed to this town, and we would do well to have them come forward to congratulate and say thank you to them for A, for their achievements, B, for their commitment to the community, as well as C, to extend our encouragement to them to continue to invest in this community to provide jobs, infrastructure, and development. So here we are about 9 months in, and Penn Construction came up a couple of meetings ago as a company that has invested a lot of time, effort, sweat, tears, equity into this town. And what we'd like to do is extend a formal thank you to you, your family, and to your company for the years you have put in the past, and continue to encourage you moving forward to invest in our community. We just want to give you a brief opportunity to share with us kind of what your plans are moving forward in the town, sir.
My plans are somewhat limited. I'm kind of reactivating, but I'm 75 years old. My son's very active, and what we're doing, purchased the guard building, just purchased that. Did some demolition, we applied for state penalties, we could convert that into 3 retail units. The King building, we got a couple people looking at that. As far as anything else in the town, at this juncture, the storage business that I've had for 25 years, I think I sold for about yesterday. And beyond that, in town, not much. Actually, we have 2 projects going in there. We have a lot of work. Besides that, rehab work, most of our work, however, is just elsewhere. There's 62 guys working in the.
Oh, wow.
And, it's been a good way. The town has come a long way in the last 10 years. Just look at the streets around town. Basically, I wish I was born 20 years earlier, because the town has been found. It's been discovered. 200 homes, 300 homes a year. We got whatever. However, it's a little uncanny on the roads. The roads are getting very crowded. Get on 130.
Right.
But it's a progress. Really well. We're really happy with it.
And we put a turn lane in on 133rd and it's overgrown back.
That's right. Really well. I'm very happy with it.
We
You build
appreciate
a new house.
Well, I'm building a house. That, my son asked me that question. He says, "We've got a beautiful home, they build a new house." I said, "What do you want to do? Just blow up and die?"
Right.
And I've always, for the last 30 years, I've admired that house at the hill, and I always wanted that spot. Finally got an opportunity to buy it, and I bought it. badly tore the old house down, I was gonna try to save it.
Okay,
Too many players in the family. They just couldn't get together.
Yeah.
But when they tore the house down, and I bought it, I paid less money for the old house. So,
well,
And
it's
your
gonna be a
mom
great,
and dad were part
Oh,
of Cedar
my
Lake
father
too.
was a building inspector.
Yeah.
I don't know. And mom worked for the trustee, and the trustee, and he worked for Pete Miller, remember Pete Miller? Lawyer, but he was. Been here a long time. Family's been here since 1870 or something. There's always been a lot of confusion on the name of tenants. Tenants was not me, I only have one son.
okay,
But my father, my grandfather had two sons, Richard and Raymond. In 37. Raymond graduated high school and came into the business. The reason we took 37 was the start date was they named the property, Hingerlawn property, by the way. And you get some money, I think $35. But my grandfather was in business about 1915.
okay.
That's the whole story.
Well, thanks for investing in the town. And you mentioned the guard building. One of the things I wanted to mention to you is
I
that,
think what's really, I've always tried to buy worse buildings. It's really hard to find. This thing is real bad. And look,
well, the one thing I wanted to pass on to you is that we also now have a facade grant program. So if you'd like to take advantage of that for that property or any others, you're more than welcome to make an application.
our customers, I think the early learning centers took advantage of it, like people took advantage of it. And I believe, what we've been doing that. So those are the three I worked out. There might be a couple more.
But if you want to try to take advantage of it for the guard building, you're more than welcome to make an application.
I've never been a big proponent of using government money, but maybe that might be the place to do.
There you go. Well, anyone else from the commission?
Well, thank you and your family for many, many generations of investment in the community. And, you know, a lot of communities around the country have struggled during this time of the pandemic. And thankfully, to this point, Cedar Lake has not been one of them. And part of the big reason is people like you who pay wages to workers, who pay taxes, who pay their utility bills. I mean, all of that stuff matters so much. And I think we see it now more than ever that when you have a 97% tax collection rate throughout a pandemic, when other communities are dealing with 15, 60%, we're pretty blessed. But your business and the people you employ that support their communities, support their churches, support their schools, man, it's a huge difference when you have employers like yourself with 62 people out there in the field working. That generates a lot of economy. Yes, they make good wages. Right? Yep. Yep. But that's definitely appreciated by the whole community that there's businesses here that help to generate that economic sovereignty, you know, that we can still maintain our independence because of the blue collar nature of a business like yours.
Anyone else from the commission? Understand, we appreciate it. We do have a certificate. If you'd like to hang this up in your front office, and if you want to pass along as well to your staff and to your employees, our appreciation on behalf of the town, we greatly appreciate it. You mentioned it's difficult work to run a business, much less one with about 60 employees. So yeah, Sarah's going to take a picture. Normally we get together, but COVID's kind of put a damper on us circling around you. So a few months ago, yeah.
Because she's sneaking up behind you with a camera, so you better get your good side, Dick.
And smile.
There you go, Randy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Thank you. All right, continuing onward, we're going to move next to our consent agenda. We've got A, approval of November 16, 2020 meeting minutes previously distributed. And claims fund 404, the amount of $285, fund 804, the amount of $128,325.64. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Eric, motion approves, their support.
Second.
Jolie, second. Discussion. We got a big number there. I haven't seen one of those big numbers in a while. That is for Walsh and Kelly. Is that the final payment on the roundabout?
No,
What is it?
that is for the tip area portion of the community crossing grant that went around the lake, that hot in place project.
Got it. Okay, these are all in good order, Jill?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions on Fund 404, 804, or the November 16, 2020 meeting minutes?
Nathan,
Yes, please.
I don't have a copy of the claim doc. Are included in the claims attorney fees from Barnes and Thornburg.
No.
You'll probably get them next month. That would be related to the recovery of funds for the town on the SVT LLC bonds.
Okay,
So alert you to that for next month.
okay.
Yeah,
Claim. You haven't seen the claim? Okay.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the roll.
Jolie Kovach.
Yes.
Doug Spencer,
Yes.
Randy Niemeyer,
Yes.
Eric Burnham,
Yes.
Nathan Best.
Yes. Move along to new business, explore everyday community recognition nomination. I will note for the record, before we entertain any motions, we do have existing on the back burner approval for Sandbar Grill. If I recall correctly, Sarah, they had expressed thanks, but that they would not attend.
Correct.
Okay, all right. So we can pass that along to them. So if it is the board's pleasure, we can accept a new nomination this evening if that is the board's pleasure.
Were we still gonna do the sandbar?
Yes, so the sandbar has been approved, and what we'll do is we'll send the letter and certificate to them directly. They felt comfortable staying away from the public meeting.
So for the next one, you want to,
If that's the board's pleasure, we can take a month break. Entirely up to the group.
I think it's fine to go forward with Sandbar as our one to recognize.
We have already approved them. Oh,
He's
yeah, we did
wanting
already
another.
approve.
You approved them in November.
Yep. So we're eligible for another one right now if we want. We'll take a month off.
I suggested the doc. I don't know if they're gonna be around here long. From what I see on Facebook.
Are they still getting bad reviews? Because I've heard of quite a few good reviews too.
Yeah, but I don't know who's saying that, if it's people that work there.
Here's a suggestion. So one business that's been around this community a long, long time and has now changed ownership is Harrio's. And Tomas, the new owner, from what I understand, has done an absolutely fabulous job at really trying to re-energize that business, utilize that banquet facility that's there. But prior to him, Jimmy and his family, they owned the corner where Walgreens is, and he used to own a restaurant called The Heritage.
No, he didn't own that.
They did.
Don and Mark Demansky.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they were the only.
Well, it was when it changed to Jack's Lounge that Jimmy owned
Okay,
it.
maybe then, but Don and Mark Demansky were the owners of that, and
Right after the Heritage, it was Jack's Lounge, and then it was sold to Walgreens. But Harrio's itself has been a staple on US 41 for a long time. I think it would be very good to recognize a longtime business like that is under new ownership, in a new direction, an opportunity to kind of prop them up a little bit too.
Is that
Jimmy
motion?
still owns the building.
So moved, yes.
Okay, there's a second.
second,
Second by Jolie. Any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll call for the roll.
Jolie Kovach.
yes,
Doug Spencer,
Yes.
Randy Niemeyer,
Yes.
Eric Burnham,
Yes.
Nathan Best.
Condition on they bring breakfast. Yes. All right, thank you all.
They got
Appreciate
great
that.
breakfast.
Thank
No
you. Dynamite. All right, project updates. First, All right, I think I finally got this thanks to Sarah down to a science here, the agenda. Jen, can you please give us a clerk treasurer's fund report?
So I previously sent you all your reports, but I did get a fantastic update today. County reached out to me, the fall settlement will be received tomorrow, it'll hit the bank. And TIP looks to receive $570,150, which is quite fantastic, I think, being in the year of the pandemic. That's approximately $80,000 more than your spring settlement. The last few years, traditionally, your spring settlement has been larger than your fall settlement, so we're on a nice path.
Awesome. Any idea as to what percentage total of possible revenue that constitutes? Is that 95%?
Without having access to county's record, I mean, I don't go through all of that. So reach out to Mr. Leeser and get a couple of
Okay.
things for January's meeting, but
While we're on that front, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, is there someone from your office that does an analysis of the monies at the end of the year and as to what businesses, if any, may or may not have applied for property tax breaks? When do we anticipate that? What goes on there?
We just monitor the filings that are made, the payments that are made.
Okay.
For check to see who doesn't. Most of the time, we're looking for who doesn't.
Okay.
People that are, their revenues are paid.
Is that like a February, March anticipated from your office? We can anticipate?
It is.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Mr. Chairman, can I segue something off of Jen's report?
Go ahead.
It's going to be important for all of us in this room, elected and appointed officials, to really pay close attention to this year's legislative session. TIF is under attack once again, and it is all based on teacher pay. The Blue Ribbon Committee appointed by Governor Holcomb following his 2019 State of the State address has identified TIF as one of the possible areas by changing how the formulas work, that more money could go to schools to pay teachers more, because they have come up with this number that we need to come up with $600 million statewide to pay teachers a competitive salary, 600 million more.
A year?
Yes. So if you take a look at TIF as an area of low-hanging fruit for legislators, who many of them never served in local government, Cedar Lake collects, let's just call round number $1 million a year TIF. If you look at the property tax breakdown, school corporations get 48.5% of that. County gets 24% of it. Town gets 24% of that if it wasn't all captured in TIF. So if you start to parcel that stuff out and look at the debt service that we have, some of the projects we're working on, some of the investment that's already been made, and think that you're only getting a quarter of every dollar that you currently get, that's a pretty scary thought for growing communities. Not only will it kill your infrastructure dollars, it will force you as a community to look at things like wheel taxes, which are very unpopular. Other areas of funding through fees and some of the little bit of home rule that's left. But then we have debt service tied to some of these TIF revenues long-term, stuff that's 15 and 20 years down the road yet of getting paid off. So follow the legislative agenda, look for these TIF bills, call Rep. Aylesworth and Senator Niemeyer. They need to hear from you because they're going to be fighting a battle as well, because some of their colleagues in the Republican Party are the ones sponsoring these things. They've been in Southern Indiana targeting TIF for years, and I know in Clark County, one of the reps from down there, Jeffersonville, has had his laser focused on it for quite a while. And the state, what they're looking to do is to take the burden of school funding kind of off themselves, come in as the riding on the white horse, and look, we provided all this pay for schools, but doing it on the back of the municipalities. So make sure you pay attention and don't be quiet. I've already been emailing Rick Niemeyer's legislative assistant, Mike Conway, and he's been corresponding with me and has assured me that I will be notified immediately when there is any news to report out of caucus or committee meetings. So I'm going to stay on it, but everybody needs to make their voice heard.
Randy, are they processing bills right now that include this language? I know.
Yeah.
I read Rick's report to the council.
There will be several bills that have sponsors and co-sponsors already lined up that are going to at least be drafted. Whether or not they get through committee, get on the floor for a hearing, is yet to be seen, because there's going to be a lot of opposing views to this. This is a very hot button issue, and not just for our community, but many others like it. So, but it's important that everybody in these positions pays attention. This legislation could have a massive ripple effect on Cedar Lake for generations to come. Indiana wanted school funding to be a different formula, which included sales tax and a limited amount of property tax. And now they're looking to try and find a way to push that back on us. So it's definitely one of those things that has been gaining momentum every session. Something's going to happen with it. There'll be some kind of compromise. How that's going to look is going to be dependent upon people like us speaking up. There will be some kind of legislation passed that will change TIF. I'm convinced of that. What it will look like is yet to be determined.
And the potential for school board members to be a voting member,
That's on the agenda as well as part of the original proposal. It's an awful idea. School boards have their own jurisdiction. And I would propose that that's okay if they want to have a voting member on a redevelopment commission, then the towns need to have voting members on school boards. Because that controls a portion of the property tax money that's collected from our residents. So if that's how we're going to do it, fine, then we need to have some balance.
Randy, what's your thought? Is it worthwhile for at least the communication to go to our local representatives on behalf of Cedar Lake RDC?
I would think that things like that help showing some unity and making sure we have a clear message that we understand that, you know, times change and we need to look at more ways to solve problems. But without the TIF district that was developed in Cedar Lake, you know, roughly 20 years ago, we wouldn't have seen the assessed value growth of this town of well over 50%, probably into the 60% range, which has benefited schools as well. So there has been mutual benefit by every taxing entity because of the investment infrastructure has created this platform for growth. Without that investment, that first phase of 133rd, Bob, without that, we're not where we are today. And that was all TIF generated. So it's important to remember those foundational pieces. And I think legislators sometimes get caught in this silo where they're only looking to solve this one problem and not thinking about how much benefit has been created by TIF districts for school corporations because of the growth in assessed value, because of the growth of communities.
What about a letter from the RDC to Mike Ellsworth and Rick Niemeyer, letting them know about your concern for this?
That's what Nathan was talking about.
That's what I'd like to do.
Putting together something, and I can share with you, Nathan, and the whole group, what I've sent in emails so far.
Yeah.
Because I get pretty fired up about these things. I'm a big believer that local government should have the ability to provide its basic services for its citizens. And every time there's legislation like that out there, that is another step in taking that ability away from us, but still charging us with the responsibility, saying, no, you still have to do this,
right?
But we can't tell you how, but you have no home rule to go do it.
Well, if it's okay with the board, I'd like the ability to craft. I can work with Dave and Randy in the next month and then come back with a proposal letter that we approve at our January meeting.
Yeah, that'd be
That we
great.
send, I think, to the governor as well as we identify other key officials.
The governor's going to push pretty hard for this TIF reform too,
Well,
because he's trying to placate the teachers union right now.
I think he's trying to skate on two icebergs and vision
Yeah.
of what might be ahead for him.
His problem is he doesn't understand that TIF is just like the story in It's a Wonderful Life. Without TIF, we would be under 8,000 people, it'd still be the same as it was in 2000. We'd be struggling. The community has transformed over redevelopment activities, and the responsible folks, your predecessors included, who carried the ball to get us to this point.
So let's look at this from a mathematical standpoint, right? So let's say we have $1 million. Cedar Lake General Fund would then get $250,000. The county would get $250,000. You have two main school corporations. I know we have Tri Creek, but they're minimal impact with TIP dollars. And let's say that it was divided equally between Center Township schools and Hanover Township schools. $250,000 apiece with all those teachers. What kind of dent is that going to make in their salaries? Honestly, very little. But what kind of dent will it make in this community? Massive. To put a hole in it. So that's the kind of stuff that you have to look at, is the magnitudes, the exponents. Who is the 250,000? Is it important to schools? Yeah, it is. They would love to have another 250 grand in their operational budget. But if you've got 200 teachers to pay, what's they come out to? $1,200 a piece of a raise? That's not making a dent in competitiveness. That's if every dollar went towards a raise.
I'm envisioning sometimes letters aren't effective. Sometimes what's more effective is something outside the box. And I remember when I was an undergrad, the political science group that I was a part of really wanted Condoleezza Rice to come and speak at my undergrad. We sent her a postcard, but it was a postcard that was 8 feet by 4 feet with our college campus on the one side. We had as many students as they could sign the backside of it. It was right around 9/11, so she was a little busy, but we did get a handwritten response acknowledging it to be the most unusual invitation ever. And she wished she could have been there. So what comes to my mind is if we start to compile, and I'm just talking aloud here, we got some time to decide it, but something along that line that pictures all of the improvements and developments on the one side, and the back side very simply asks some questions about how else could we have supported this growth, Mr. Governor? And we invite you to our community to have a conversation with us about the impact. I think that's where you start to.
You're on the right track, because I think we're going to have to tell a story like every other community. Let's show when the TIP district was adopted. Let's put together those financial reports that shows the growth in assessed value, the growth in population, how much was invested in infrastructure, and how much more tax revenue came in, how much the schools benefited. That story can be told. That information is there. It's just work's got to be done to get it out and present the evidence, because lawmakers are going to need that evidence to make a smart decision.
Yep. Okay. All right. We'll add that to the to-do list.
Sorry to give everybody more work, but this is pretty darn important.
Nope. That is good stuff. Appreciate that update. Thank you, Randy.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Jen on the clerk treasurer's fund report or for the junior treasurers?
The junior treasures.
New title, gentlemen. A lot of work, no pay.
Ouch.
The older of the two gentlemen is not impressed. You can see the look on his face. He's like, what is this guy talking about?
Why is he picking on me?
All right, Jen, we appreciate it as always. Thank you. All right, Hood Loss Damages, Dave, update there.
I have personal account numbers of Mr. Tony Hood for his bank accounts. He is to deliver all his required data about assets and information on or before January 4th. We're getting close.
Yay.
We're on his tail.
See if there's any gold in those accounts. All right, appreciate that. Any questions for Dave on that front?
He's nervous, which tells me that he probably does have some assets in his accounts.
Or tell Warner that he can't squirrel them away. All right, thank you. Industrial Park Property Roadway, I'm not sure there's anything new to report there, so we should keep that one on the agenda, please. Facade grants, thank you to Sarah for continuing to provide updates. We've got reimbursement requests on a couple of folks, and Sarah has provided an update as to where folks stand. Any questions there from anyone?
I don't.
So on that Excel spreadsheet that I printed off for you, I highlighted in yellow 2 individuals to the right. Those 2 individuals have given me their reimbursement requests. That was printed before they gave them to me.
Okay,
So they'll be coming before you in the January meeting.
sounds good. Thank you, Sarah.
Mhm.
All All right, moving along to e-marketing of Explore Everyday recipients. Randy, any update there? Do we all wait till January for that?
No update, just basically kind of, I think we need to sit tight on things like this with this, some of this TIF legislation, because we just don't know what any of this is gonna look like. So it's best to just gather data, review the law. This TIF legislation could change how we use TIF dollars wholesale. So who knows?
All right, well, let's continue to keep that on there, Sarah, at least for another month to explore and revisit. Light poles, banners, Mr. Everly, some exploration was done by your office. What did we find out?
Correct. Got some pricing here, Mr. President, and it comes from banners.com. What I did not get a chance to do was actually measure those the standards, the support brackets there that are on the poles, but I estimated them at 2 feet by 3 feet. And so I reached out to banners.com based on those measurements. And we have 26 poles that are outfitted with those support brackets on them. And we can get a banner on each pole, presuming 24 by 36, at $35.91 per banner. And that is printed, that's double-sided, 13-ounce vinyl. They have one product that's even a little more heavy duty than that. They call it the Sunbrella. I did not get a price on that one. I just asked them to give me a price on the 13-ounce. So 26 banners at roughly $36 per banner, $933.66. Shipping's an additional $81.12. Total cost of $1,014.78. So that's just one quote. I haven't checked with other providers, but that gives us a pretty good number to work with. We can figure about $1,000 for our 26 poles. They have a standard thank you veterans banner that we could take advantage of. We can do a little bit more, a little bit more design work, and as long as we can do it on the computer, then there's no extra cost for that. But if we get their design professionals involved to come up with something for us, then there would be a cost for that service. So we can do it for roughly $1,000.
Are those banners about 3 feet? I thought bigger things were about 4 or 5 feet, and the ones on over there by Lakeside are smaller.
That's by Lakeside. The picture that you
Okay.
see there is by Lakeside. Yeah.
Okay, Lakeside is a lot smaller than the ones that we had down here on 133rd and right down. Those were huge banners.
Yeah, those are the biggest ones that they made. But then on the same token, as I mentioned before, the winds around here, ripped them up. But then, what, that wind hit us in the winter time. We had some good winter storms come through and that shot it there. But yeah, they were the bigger ones. And so maybe not going so big, maybe better.
Yeah, but can we work and move the poles up so they're smaller on the other?
I think that's it on those poles that you
You can't, I don't think those are adjustable.
right. Those are they're into the pole.
They're manufactured straight out of the pole. Sometimes they're a collar that fits around the pole and
Which is what we had.
you can just slide those up and down, but these are not that way. So that's why I'll need to get a more exact dimension of these. I was guesstimating those based on the picture you see there.
Yeah.
So if the banners happen to be larger, the cost is going to be a
Right.
bit greater.
So Rick, thanks for looking into that. I think the question for the commission is, based upon that exploration proposed cost, is that a cost that we're interested in encouraging in a project that we want to promote? Or is this an idea we want to encourage someone else to take charge of and run with in the upcoming year? What's the pleasure of the commission?
Can I ask you a question? Did you catch the poles with the banners on that would be Parish, where the what's that subdivision there? Just before 141st Street.
I can tell you, Doug, that I was concentrating on the east side of the.
Okay, all right, yeah, there's some poles there that are along that new, I I guess we call it development.
Point or
Yeah, Beacon Point, right?
Point.
There's some poles there because Beacon Point used those poles to promote their Beacon Point,
Okay.
you know, and
Yeah,
they didn't
this-
use all of
this
them.
was basically from the Chamber of Commerce building in towards 133rd and then down and then east on 133rd towards Lakeside.
Okay.
That's the area that I concentrated on and the number of poles that I counted were in that area.
The idea
What's on
that,
the banner?
yeah, the idea that I brought forward was I saw it both in Moments and someone else mentioned they had seen it in Dyer or Highland around Veterans Day, that people can promote, or people have put on pictures of the veterans, and it's a way to say thank you for the veterans and these nice vinyl posters throughout town. So it's a way to highlight their achievements and our appreciation and recognition for them. It seemed to me to be a really cool, unique way to bring the community together a little bit and promote and say thank you to our veterans. I'm not sure if that fits directly within our guidelines of economic development, but those poles are definitely within our zone, so to speak.
I think that it sounds like a very reasonable thing, but I also want to know how much the heavy duty ones are and which one they recommend for that type of scenario and how long they last and things of that nature,
Sure.
possibly.
And the heavy duty ones may be a lot better because the ones that the chamber put up, the wind just destroyed them.
Okay,
Here's my thought, if there's a bit more exploration that Rick can do, and then if anyone has any ideas as to if there are any teachers at the high school, marketing class of some form or history class, or maybe someone in Boy Scouts, this would be a project that they'd be willing to tackle on, and we can talk about maybe just supporting it alongside some local businesses. What are commission's thoughts?
making the signs like a design contest.
I don't know if you want to go that far, but just spearheading the
Boy
collection.
Scout thing sounds logical. That'd be a great Eagle Scout project for a kid or several kids.
Because you got to collect people to reference, veterans to put on their pictures and things of that nature. It seems to me if we can avoid having town staff do that, instead there's a third party volunteers.
Great-
that-
great
yeah,
opportunity.
definitely.
The Boy Scouts are always looking for stuff, and that's,
About historical association.
do we just, I just see like that one.
It's right
They
next
run the
door here.
museum.
They work
Oh.
out
All right, well, I don't,
Come on, Eric.
come on, I guess I should know that. huh?
Have you haven't gone through there?
Oh, what's that?
You haven't gone in there?
No,
Does
pretty
anybody know-
amazing.
Cool.
All right, are you on the board for the historical association?
No, I was just, I worked with them for a while.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
All right, anybody have some contacts with Boy Scouts? Junior treasures?
We had a,
Bill Pullen, who's I think the president of the Eagles, and they're the only Boy Scout group in Cedar Lake right now.
You want to chat with him? See if he has any guys that need a project? Might be interested? Okay.
But there's
we've got
also some
time.
Cedar Lake kids that go to the St. John troop, so there's several troops that are active in Cedar Lake, maybe not based in Cedar Lake, but they're active here. Yeah, and Lowell.
Okay. Sarah, could that be a project next month? There's nothing urgent here.
I have seen, can't remember what the town was, but the town had the kids on the high school teams, players. Had their pictures up on there and the names of the players. But Rick, you did mention something, it was interesting where if they design, or if we design it on the computer there, it's a cost savings there. But I know that when we were with Simcoe Signs, it was, he would design them or whatever, but if it got to too much individual type designs, it threw things off. We put the businesses under the sponsoring businesses underneath the name underneath each sign, and that was just kind of a promotion for the business there. But Nathan's going a different route here, so I mean, I kind of like that too. And I know there were some towns that had a memorial roll, and that was with all the veterans on there that they were all pictured on the row there, on their one street there.
So we'll get a few more costs, some contacts as to possible third parties that assist us with that, and we'll reconnoiter in January. If we're back. Okay. All right, future items.
We're back.
You all have to get reappointed.
I know, be nice to Randy. Future items, Lincoln Plaza
I'm one of
signage.
7.
We've got 4 items here. I think we're all in agreement that we can defer on these until the new year. Agreement from the commission?
I agree.
Agree.
Last item I was going to ask everyone is, has everyone submitted their application for next year, for 2021?
I'm good with that one.
Everyone did?
Yeah, I have received all 4 of you guys.
All right, okay, very good. Anything else from the commission? All right, any written communications? Jill, Rick, Dave, that we haven't covered? Okay. Well, I guess my request to all is to have a very merry and blessed Christmas. Have a wonderful Christmas holiday with your families. It's been certainly a wild and tumultuous year. It's been a pleasure serving with everyone here in 2020, despite the wild ride that we have been on. Again, Rick, welcome aboard. Looking forward to a exciting 2021. That is for certain. I appreciate everyone's enthusiasm. There's no one here from the public, so we'll forego that. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support? Support. All right, we are adjourned. All right, we're gonna go.